The views and opinions expressed in this broadcast are those of the host/guest and do not necessarily reflect the views or positions of any of BXR entities and those they represent.
Hey, what's up? What's up? What? It's the goddess Shaz Throw, the Emperor's Lady Cake Mix, and I'm here with you again on a Thursday, live at 7. How I do, coming through with your news, our views, to Be Exposed Radio. Wow. Y'all know I got a lot to talk about, and you always know if you are here to talk about it with me, make sure you hit me up. The phone lines are always open. 443-642-9403. And then look, if you want to be a guest on my guest segment of Living It Up, hit me up. Because, I mean, where you at? Don't be like that. Do not be like that. But God bless you. God loves you. And I love you too. Okay. So, y'all, I done had a week, a month, a couple of months, a year for real since like last year. I'm gonna get into that at the end of the show because I always like feel like it's important sometimes to share my struggle, because a lot of times it can encourage somebody, because sometimes when people watching you or they see you, I understand, I accept my role. People call me an influencer, an encourager, all of that good stuff. But sometimes when you that type of person and you that strong person, people tend to believe that you don't go through stuff. So I like to make it known that I go through just the way that you do, and hopefully, it can encourage you to keep on going as you're looking at me, keeping on going, because I'm telling you, you don't even know the half, unless I let you know, right? So I'm going to let y'all know some stuff that was going on with me, but we got a lot to talk about tonight. I don't have anybody that came through on Living It on the guest segment tonight, but that's all right. That's all right. Y'all know I'm going to talk y'all head off, and I'm going to give it to y'all right. Okay? Y'all know how I do. Y'all just already know, because you know what it is and you know what it gives. It's more to like to die. And so, yeah, you better live. Look, I almost tripped up. Like, how can I forget that song or that slogan? I got some stuff going on in the background, as always. Praying, oh, dear God, don't let it be a distraction. Oh, my OCD. But anyway, tonight's topic is them, but it could be you. Oh, I'm going to break it all down. I'm going to break it all down. Yes, I am. But I first got to get started with that prayer, giving all honor and glory to God. Yes, ma'am. Yes, sir. I will never deter, never, ever deter from that, from giving praise. And guess what? I have to do it a lot more lately these days, the praise and the prayers and all of that, because that is what keeps me grounded. So join me, get in tune, you hear me, send some good energy through this tube as you're watching me, because guess what, I'm sending it right back on out to you. Oh dear God, we thank you for another day. Oh Heavenly Father, thank you for being who you are, oh Father God. Thank you for keeping us grounded, Lord, when we lose our step. Thank you for holding our hands even we are balled up in frustration and devastation. Oh, Father God, continue to help us look and seek the light as we are surrounded by darkness, oh, Father God. And darkness, oh, Father God, sometimes just, blinds our way. But God, you are who you say you are. I thank you, oh, Father God, for the strength, the wisdom, and the courage to just keep on going. Oh, Father God, I pray for anyone who's out there that is hurting, anyone who is suffering, oh, Father God, anyone, oh, Father God, who just needs additional guidance, oh, Father God, and do not know how to ask. I ask right now, oh, Father God, that you give them the spirit of peace, the spirit of guidance, oh, Father God, and the spirit of just keep going. Amen. Amen. Just keep going, right? But the topic is them, and it could be you. Yes, I'm going to start that off by just saying, a lot of times We talk about karma. We talk about energy. You know, that's so cliche these days. Everybody, oh, energy and what's a vibe and all that other good stuff, right? But the truth of the matter, when I'm thinking about this and why this is my topic, it goes to a couple of things that I'm going to bring up that I've been seeing, of course, on the news and social media, people talking about them, people being so judgmental about these situations and other people's circumstances. And I know, because I always say, if you're anything like me and I'm anything like you, we be going through, but we get through, praise God. But the reality is, a lot of times when people are privy to knowing someone is going through something, or something is just not all well in someone's life, right? Sometimes people unintentionally, I would hope, don't seem to know how to empathize or even sympathize when they had been through something similar. You know, like people act like they don't go through nothing. And I think the worst thing to do when you see somebody going through something is to talk down about what they're going through versus trying to speak up on it. You get what I mean? Like, speak up on it, speak life into that situation. I always say, you know, with friends and with colleagues, I always say, because I've lost quite a few of them, right? I always say, when it gets to that talking behind your back and stuff like that, I always say, well, sometimes it ain't what you said, it's what you didn't say. You get what I'm saying? Like, when those tables turn, you know, you'll stay and sit up straight, but then people will turn their back on you. And instead of people talking to you about a situation that involves you or something that you're going through, they'll use it to talk about you. And that is the sad part. So what I do, and I intentionally am mindful of when I know when people are going through things or when people try to share with me their troubles, I am in tune, and I do more than understand. I really say I understand because I get in it and I can stand in for real what they are going through. I don't be like, well, you know, if this was that or this or that, people without jobs or people having eviction notices or turn off notices or whatever, you know, people dealing with substance abuse and people looking, that would never be me. Or in this situation, oh, they got locked up. That's a mess, or da da da, or whatever. I'm just saying, watch your mouth, because karma, yeah, we know that bad karma is out here, right? But also that good karma too, because it really is about how you think of, how you speak, and your actions. So don't be so fast to speak down on someone else's situation, because sure enough, you can manifest it and it will become you. So it's them, but it could be you. So keep that in mind. Keep that in mind when you know people are going through stuff, or you know of a situation, somebody close to you, somebody that you don't even know for the most part. You get what I mean? Not to try to make excuses for people, because people gotta take responsibility in their own stuff. True. But for the most part, try to at least empathize, because you'll never know how somebody got in that situation. And a lot of times you don't know how you would handle or deal with it until you go through it. It's easy to say that, oh, I would have did this or I would have did that. But you can't always say that until you go through it. You know, I'm gonna say that also. Like for myself, like I said, as far as the karma, when I know people are going through things or people call me to confide in me, a lot of times I listen. I'm real careful not to tell people, oh, you should have did this or you should have did that. That's why I'm one of them people that tends to keep things to myself, because sometimes you'll tell a person a situation or you'll say something, and it's not that you don't want advice. And it's not that you cannot take criticism, but sometimes people just need you to listen. People just trying to vent, especially them strong people and the people that you know that is about handling their business, and for whatever reason they're a little bit off. I'm telling you, if they reach out to you to share something that they are going through, your best thing is to listen and then respond accordingly, of course, because you want to have a conversation, but don't be giving, oh, you should have did this or you should have did that. That burns me up when people do that, when I go and vent to people. And the first thing they say is, oh, well, you should have did this, or you're going through this because of this, or, just all of that. And I'm like, wait a minute, they giving me this saying I should have did this as if I haven't already done that, done that stuff, right? So look, I know I ain't crazy. It happens. I'm just giving y'all my input on it because karma is real and it's inevitable, really. And it ties into what everybody be saying, energies and vibes and everything else like that. Because what is so disheartening is that people are quick to match negative energy, right? And negative vibes, but they are reluctant or they hesitate to match the positive ones. It's real, real hard. If someone's being nasty, a person, or being rude to you, it's real easy for you to match that energy, right? But if someone's generally trying to show you love or tell you that they love you, a lot of times we are reluctant. And it comes from past traumas and stuff like that, I know, and being betrayed and stuff like that in the past. But yeah, just be mindful of all of that. I told y'all a lot of times I be having a lot to say on the subject, and it be so funny because as I be traveling throughout my day before I come on here, I really be playing it over and over in my head. I be talking to myself. I be like, yeah, oh yeah, that's a good point. The same way I got to do on here, right? And talk to myself because y'all be acting like y'all want to call me up and talk to me. But I play it all day in my head. And then when I get on here, I be like, oh, wait a minute, I missed that point. So it'll be all jumbled up a little bit, but I surely hope that y'all get what I'm trying to say because it definitely comes from the heart and it's good intentions behind it. I'm telling you, it is what you think, what you do, and what you speak. So make sure you speak well, you think well, and you act well towards others. Because, baby, it might not be well for you for so long. Okay? Okay? Because it's them. It could be you. Let me get into some of this stuff that I want to talk about tonight because, it's your news, our views. And I'm always going to come with the what and the what's and the what and the worlds. This isn't really a what and a what or what in the world, but it's just some stuff that is going on right now in my hometown of Baltimore, Maryland, Baltimore City. Yes, in a house, born and raised. Okay. So Sheila Dixon, who was once our mayor, dedicated mayor, beautiful, really did a lot for the city. Unfortunately, she had to step down back in 2010 after she received some criminal charges for embezzling gift cards. She also had a perjury charge, which was later dismissed because Miss Sheila was receiving some gifts, they allege, from a companion of hers, like a boyfriend that was a developer. So basically they were saying that was against the ethnical guidelines of being the mayor in Baltimore City, as well as she supposed to had some gift cards. I don't know where they was from, Walmart, wherever they was from. But someone said they donated the gift cards for the citizens of Baltimore and Miss Sheila gave them to whoever she felt like or whatever. Yeah, that's what they said. And that's what happened. I mean, she did plead guilty. She had 4 years of probation. Because of it, she had 4 years of probation on that one charge of the embezzlement because the perjury charge was dismissed because they were saying that she lied about getting them gifts from the developer. So she did 4 years of probation, and within that time, she could not at all seek office during that time. But since that time, she has sought office a couple of times for the top seat of our Baltimore City mayor. Now, say what you may, but when Miss Sheila Dixon was here, I did recognize a difference. Now, I'm getting older, but I'm not that old. So the first mayor that I can remember is Mayor Kirk Smoke. We had Martin O'Malley. was somebody else. Was Robert Earl? No, he was our governor. I remember him, of course, Catherine Pugh, who won over her in 2016 for mayor. And then later she had to go too for her own scandalous stuff involving the sale of her self-published children books. And in 2020, she lost to our now mayor, Brandon Scott. I'm going to talk about him later too, because I heard Brandon Scott feeling a little bit nervous, and he done reached out to the Board of Ethics trying to ask them how he can run his campaign and still tend to the city business. But anyway, Miss Sheila Dixon officially announced today that she will be running for mayor in 2024 election. And a lot of people are saying that she has a very good chance, because the last two times when she ran and she lost to Pugh and Scott, she was very close, very, very close. But Miss Sheila Dixon has come out with comments. Actually, I think it's called an op-ed or whatever, a statement, an apology letter that was published by the Sun prior to her official announcement today that she is running. So she came out with this apology letter, just basically indicating that she understands that some people cannot get over, her mistakes and things of that nature. I want to read this now verbatim. She says she recognizes that for some reason it may be impossible to overlook her prior mistakes. She goes on and says that she's writing today to ask that you open your hearts and minds to give me the opportunity to demonstrate my commitment to Baltimore City and my passion for ensuring it thrives. With love, Sheila. Yes, that is the letter that she published due to some paper, basically giving her apology, asking people to open their hearts, and that to see it for what it is. She made mistakes. That's what happened back then, but she is definitely here for Baltimore. She's here. She's here for Baltimore City. Now, Sheila Dixon, 69, sister looking real fine and fly, by the way. 69. I was like, wow, Sheila Dixon, 69. She's looking good. And I really believe that she has a good chance of becoming the mayor. I spoke on this a while ago on the show, and I was like, oh, yeah, it's definitely apparent that she's running for mayor, because the months that had passed, she had been on different platforms, town hall meetings, different community events, on different news stations, answering questions about different issues that the city was facing when it came to our Baltimore City School Board, the police department, just speaking on several issues and expressing her concerns and basically saying what she would have did or what she feels needs to be done. So I was already under the impression, like I brought to y'all before, that Sheila Dixon would be running for mayor again. So today, it was confirmed. Yes. So Sheila Dixon was our mayor, I think, 2007 through 2010. And when she was, it was some things that did decrease, like our murder rate. I think throughout that span, we weren't at 300 yet, a little bit under 300, like 280 something. During her tenure, it went down to like 238. That's good. Anything is good for real, to know that people ain't dying like flies. And then it was less arrests as well. A lot of times when I talk to people about when Sheila Dixon was, a lot of people recognize too that this city was a little cleaner. Sheila was for the people. She was for the children. She had a lot of children events. She was very big on education. And aside from the streets being cleaner, they was a lot more needed too. I'm talking about these roadways, these bumps, these humps, these valleys, and these mountains, because that's exactly what, if you traveling on the Baltimore City streets, that's exactly what it be given. I'm trying to tell you. But when Sheila Dixon was here, I can say I didn't remember it being so much trash and different things of that nature. And it always was border houses, but not as many, was it? I don't know. I mean, I think that it is reasonable to at least give her another chance, because if anything, I do agree she did her thing. And I also shared with y'all before that the last couple of times that she went out, no, I did not vote for her. Unfortunately, I was one of those persons too that was adamant on not her mistakes on what she did, but I just felt that because that was out there, that she wouldn't be able to get done what she needed to get done. Like city government would be watching her, thinking that something of the sort could happen again. Different people, the hires up, the governor and different stuff like that will probably be reluctant to work with her. You know how they do. But once you do something, baby, they kind of like blackball you, blackwash you, whatever it's called. And they put out that energy about you. So it wasn't necessarily that I could not forgive her for giving away the gift cards, because I don't know exactly all of the facts as to what they alleged she did. But considering all she did for Baltimore, I think it's time that we definitely can forgive that. I mean, come on now. Other people, other organizations, we're going to keep it real, because I'm Chancellor of the Empress Lady Cake Mix, and I wouldn't be me if I didn't. But no, y'all people in other organizations, all down City Hall, they are stealing. I don't know what happened with Sheila didn't went against or whatever, and who jammed up with these gift cards and finally or whatever decided to tell on her about some gift cards, because that's what it was given, or her man that she was dating, and he was the developer. But there definitely was some jealousy and there was some envy down there. And I always feel a lot of times when people are here in those type of positions that are doing stuff for us, people try to find anything. They try to find anything to make them be in this bad light. So it was her, but it could be you, right? So let's forgive Sheila Dixon. I'm not saying that you have to support her to be our mayor again, but I am on here to claim that I am, and I have not the last two times that she has ran. So people say 3 strikes, you're out, but I believe this third time, Sheila Dixon is going to definitely be in. Yeah, she's definitely going to be in. I would love to know what you think. What do you think that she can do to improve the city of Baltimore? One thing that she did say is that, in acknowledging her mistakes, she's saying that she know that she can do it. Not the same way she did it, but at least she's going to do it with accountability, focus, and being able to lead the city.
I know what I want.
That to be sure. What's that?
I know what I want.
What you want?
A comprehensive review of the water bill system.
Oh, tell me about it. And wait a minute. She spoke on that. She spoke on that on the news today. She said that she would definitely be reviewing that. Sheila said that she has seen firsthand. She said this city government is unrecognizable to her. She don't know what it is. She said she has seen firsthand how it is letting people down. So that was one of the things
she spoke on. And I had a conversation with myself last night while driving. While doing DoorDash, of course.
Mm-hmm.
I had a conversation with myself about not understanding why we are paying extra money for the updating of our water system. Why are we paying extra money? Because then what is the service fee that we pay for the delivery of water?
Right.
What is that fee for if it isn't to maintain the lines that exist? Right? So which means when they fail, that service fee should be to recover or to cover the updating of that system or the fixture of that system. So we've already paid for the maintaining of our system. So why are we paying extra money to fix it again, to replace it?
And tell me about it. Also, the fee from the
septic maintaining it all along. You should have been going down there checking to see if it was going bad.
All along.
You should have been doing all those things already. So what we're paying extra money for is the staffing. That part I don't understand. Because if the system is fixed and correctly maintained, staffing shouldn't be increased. I mean, I understand we want to give people jobs, but at the same time, if we are maintaining the systems that are already there, then it wouldn't need extra staff when stuff breaks. You see what I'm saying? Because you've already maintained it.
Exactly. And the most part, if nothing happens, essentially a lot of these people that are on the staff are sitting around. Not saying they ain't doing nothing,
And
but
then these
for real,
those mandates, like the one we've talked about this before with that Bay Fund, that
yes, what
mandate.
is
Why are
that?
you mandating us to pay for you to get the fix the Bay?
What
Like
is
use the
that?
taxpayers' money that we already pay in taxes to do
And
that.
then also, let me tell you what also screwed me up was this monthly thing. When it was quarterly, I was paying a certain amount. It always seemed a little high to me anyway. But why I was astounded is that when the bills start coming monthly, I was
That
paying
could be
more
failure
monthly
already because that you already pay. You pay now what you used to pay quarterly.
a month
A month. A month.
higher than
That's
what I used
killing
to
me.
pay
That
quarterly.
makes it higher. Like, yeah,
Yes,
I
I
can
need,
tell you my bill is like $56
baby,
a month. It's probably
baby,
$56 a month. So that's $150 a quarter. When I used to pay $56 per quarter. That's why it doesn't make sense to me. It really doesn't. But now it seems
it
like
don't,
it just seems like a giant money grab to keep people
it
employed
don't. And
versus
then,
keeping the
and then it
services
comes into play.
operating.
Right. And then it comes into play where they had to set up, different resources like they have down there now, as far as like the assistance with the water bill, where people can't, afford it. And I need to go down there now, down the municipal building, and apply for that assistance myself.
And then it
And
makes you
it's just a
worrisome
mess.
that you pay all this extra. Now you're paying all this extra money, especially monthly. You're paying all this extra money, and then you're still finding ways to taint the water.
Hmm.
Our drinking water, our bathing water is still being tainted. And
Right.
so what is this extra money going for if you're not helping?
Yeah.
I haven't seen them dig up a piece of dirt around here to change any of these water lines over here. So, all right, so here's my example. Because when I first moved into this house, probably a year into my moving into my new house, I
Mm-hmm.
had a issue where those Walmart disposable wipes that you're supposed to be able
Right.
to flush down the toilet clogged up
Right.
my water line. They clogged up my
Okay.
water line. Called Baltimore City. They said, "Well, we can't do anything on the property." Doesn't make sense to me. They're your lines
That's what
too.
they always say.
But
And
we
they
can
run through the
we can
property.
try to snake it from the alley, which it ended up working. The snaking ended up working, and it pulled out all the stuff. But my problem is that the lines that are under my house belong to you too. But you're not willing to fix those. That's now on me. I don't understand that. When it says clearly on the line outside of the house, this is Baltimore City's property.
Right. And what was so tragic too is when they had that big cave in up, up in northeast Baltimore. Was that northeast? Yeah, when they had that and all that water
Margon.
damage was done. Even the recent one they just had on North Avenue, people houses were damaged. The city now is they're fighting the city to try to pay for certain stuff. It's just a mess. And then all this money y'all collecting from people, and then when they are affected by this poor water management or however y'all managing it and keep the upkeep of it, it's like, oh, you deal with that yourself. That's not our fault. When essentially it is. If
And,
y'all was
and
coming
this
around and
same thing is
services,
this same thing is questionable. I have the same questions then again too that goes against BG&E. Like, why are you charging us to replace power lines? This is a
wow.
part of your service. That should be included in the service. You provide a service. If your power lines are aging out, you should have put that in the fee that we have already paid for years and decades. That should not be
Yeah,
something that you then try to come back to the commission and say, we need extra money to do this. No, you've
right.
taken extra money. What you did was put it in your damn pockets and all of
That's
your
what I
executive
did.
pockets as bonuses instead of taking care of the business at hand. We're not
That's
here
what they
to take
did.
care of you and bonuses for doing good work. That's something that happens when you've done good fucking work.
That's what they
You don't
did.
just get bonuses to take it away from the duties that you're supposed to do. You do
That's
it
what
when
they
you
did.
get a bonus when you do good work, and that money is available because you've taken care of everything else.
Right.
You only get the bonus when the money is left over, not because it's there. You
Mm,
still got work to do because everything is not
I know.
100%. If you're operating at 100%, then yes, give a bonus. But if you're not
Mm,
operating 100% and your lines are failing and stuff is
you
breaking when
need
a
to take
storm
care of that
hits, then you
too.
are not operating at 100% and you need to go back to the drawing board and fire those people that are taking money from the citizens. that you're supposed to be serving.
Tell them.
Point-blank
Well,
period.
it's a lot of stuff, as you said, it's a lot of stuff that we can acknowledge in the city that is not working. And Miss Sheila Dixon said that she wants to come back and she wants to get this stuff working. Yes, it is a lot of entities involved in the city of Baltimore, Maryland, that is not working. A lot of stuff that needs to be revisited. A lot of stuff that needs to be revised. She spoke on that water bill. She surely did. She spoke about the recycling. She talked about Baltimore City school system and trying to be, needing to be more heavily involved from City Hall. She talked about all of that. Like she said, what she see going on now is unfamiliar to her. She don't even know what is going on. And that says a lot coming from Sheila Dixon, who they allege stole them gift cards and all that good stuff. But hey, I mean, forgive her. Have a heart. Like she said, she understands that some people can't look past it. They can't look past it. But one of the points that I was making, and not saying that I know for a fact, but I'm going to explain.
I go to the point of, here we are talking about gift cards again, and the amount of $1,500. Let's give that the dollar amount of the gift card.
And that's what the amount was, money.
Okay. Now compare that to a $3 billion budget. But compare that to a $3 billion budget of which she controlled. $1,500. That's some people will say, well, that's still $1,500 that she stole. No, it wasn't. It was something that she got for you and couldn't use.
Right. And I think she still gave them away to people, but I don't think that she gave it away in regards to whatever that it was supposed to be. Like it was donated or something for it, but I guess she was supposed to give the family. But she still gave them away. But I think she gave them away to like people she knew, or she just was giving them away. I don't even think she
I really don't. I just don't even care to bring it back up again because it was a stupid charge then. It's a stupid charge to think about now. It's something dumb to talk about now when all the good she did. You could have kept. If anything, you could have copped that up. That she deserved that shit as a bonus. Period. For the work that she accomplished in the city.
Period.
And then you got rid of her. I mean, you took her out of office, and then you just watched the city fail, mayor after mayor after mayor after mayor.
After mayor after mayor.
Because the one that came right behind her was SRB. I don't never say her name, it won't. Like her. And she was responsible. She had the helm of the riots.
Miss Rawlins Blake the fake.
Whatever. And she held the she held the riots. That was her legacy. Was the Baltimore riots.
I got to braid her hair before when somebody was putting a weave in.
She had the Baltimore riots. That was her legacy. She's gonna never be failed. That's her failure as a mayor because that is on her watch. She had the Baltimore riots. That's on you. And then the next one was Catherine Pugh. We know what she did with her own damn book stealing money. And now here we are with
what did she get to do? She wasn't even in there long.
No, but then we had to deal with Bernard Jack Young after that. And now here we are with this one.
Oh my goodness, I forgot Jack got the chance. And Jack ain't be Jack. I like Mr. Jack Young though. Look, if he watching, but Jack ain't do Jack, but wear them colorful suits. Wear them colorful suits. But since
and I say that to say that if you add that sum up, $1,500 don't equate.
That's why
the riots cost us millions.
And that's why I'm saying too about them $1,500. Even if it was the $1,500, that's why I was saying too that it was like petty. It was somebody down there.
They wanted her out to put somebody else in.
It was very petty.
The scheme. The scheme was to get her out because she was doing too much good.
And guess what? And she was down there making people accountable. If you wasn't doing what you had to do, Sheila ain't play about that. These roads was fixed. This
Me and
trash
her, we've
was
had this
up.
conversation before in person, and it's like I don't know.
Mm.
It was a great
Well,
conversation while we had it, and I was like, and I'm always going to be on your side every time you run. And I sent her a message
yeah.
yesterday when she sent us a message saying that she was going to do a special announcement. I told her, I hope you create an appointment so I can be reminded. And
Okay.
she did it while I was asleep. So, but it's okay. It still happened.
Yes, it's definitely still happening. She announced it today. She had some very good things, just to say as far as what her hopes and what her intentions is in running for Baltimore City Mayor. So Sheila Dixon, I forgive you. And I really truly think that we need you back. I do think we need you back. Although I did not vote for you in 2016 and in 2020.
It
I
definitely
am
was.
going to you definitely get my vote this time around. Now, others who
Right,
who
listen,
are
if the mayor who was responsible for those gift cards don't have the right to issue those gift cards how she sees fit,
mhm,
then why? What was the issue? If she wasn't allowed to give away the gift cards as she sees fit, or
mhm.
to herself as she sees fit, why is that a problem? If she has an expense account,
But you know what? If I can recall too, I believe that issue, as petty as it was, kind of came after the fact when they were trying to get her on the perjury of dealing with, this
exactly,
high
they were
developer
trying
and
to mount
getting
charges against her to get her out of office. And again, she
right.
did
That came
not have
like
to
on the
leave
back
office.
end.
She did not
Yeah,
have
that
to
came
leave
on the
office.
back end.
And she did not have to
Mhm.
leave office. She left office for Baltimore
Yeah, she
to
did.
get rid
And that
of the stigma. She left office to get rid of the stigma from Baltimore. She did not
and
have
put
to
the
leave
city
office.
first.
Charter of Baltimore says the mayor cannot be fired.
Right. And she put the city first. She put the city first.
So
She
she
did
would have to
resign.
be this figurehead that was convicted and being mayor.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think it was a good decision. It was very noble and respectable of her to kind of step down, knowing what she was going through. And
Mm-hmm.
just like I said, I believe that when it all came out, I believe that they were trumping all them charges on her first because perjury was the thing. Remember, they ready to shell a house. They went in there and took computers, furs and all that, which was supposed to be the alleged gifts from the developer, somebody that she was dating. But what they were trying to say is that he was buying these gifts, and because he was buying these gifts and she was
That he
dating
was
him,
getting projects and
he
special
was getting
treatment.
work and he was getting projects. But the projects and stuff that he was doing was
Were
like good.
already
It
in,
wasn't
were
that, like,
already in progress before.
yes. I think before she started dating him, and it's not like she was giving him additional money. You know what I mean? Like he still was like getting it because he was like the lowest bid or things of that nature. And it just so happens that she started dating him. So yeah, they tried to get Sheila. Like I said, it was very petty. When you look at it in hindsight, $1,500, just it was wrong. She acknowledges that. But we got some people that they came through here and did worse of stuff. Like
I think that was a settlement, though. I don't even think that was an admission of guilt. I think it was a settlement because, again, like I said,
yeah, it was she went
she
to
had the authority to delve those cards out as she seen fit.
right. Yeah, that was her plea. I think that she basically copped to the
Right. She
embezzlement
just she wanted to get rid of the
to
case.
avoid the perjury
Right.
charge.
She just wanted to get rid of it. She wanted to get rid of it all because it seemed like they was after her, and it was nothing she could do to stop it.
Yeah, yeah, and that's what happened. So look, I forgive Sheila Dixon. Like I said, I didn't vote for her the last 2 times, but she's definitely going to get my vote this time. But Mayor Sheila Dixon is not the only Democrat that will be running up against our current mayor Brandon Scott. It's a couple of others that I want to mention who have also said that they will be running. We have Robert Wallace. I did vote for him before the businessman. So all on the ballot is going to be Robert Wallace as of now. Robert Wallace, Sheila
Why did
Dixon.
you vote for him?
They said Thurl for Roger. His name is spelled something else. I'm gonna tell you. Wait a minute.
Why did you vote for him?
Thurl for Roger. Because you know what? I had got to meet Mr. Wallace personally. Mr. Wallace was like a businessman. I remember too. Remember Dr. Buckley?
Nope.
was it Andre Buckley when he had ran? I had voted for him too. But the last time, I believe in 2016 when Pugh ran, I voted for Robert Wallace. I voted for Robert Wallace. I did. I got to meet him personally here. Like came to just like this intimate segment.
As a businessman, we see how that worked out, right? With
But I do like
that is not a criteria for being a president. I mean, for being a president or being a mayor.
Being a mayor. Well, I was trying to say Trump got it, and he was a bad businessman, and he got to be the daggone president. And guess what? He's still in the running, despite all this other stuff.
That's a negative. That is not the criteria for running this country or running this state.
You know what?
That you are a businessman.
But like I said, I had liked what he was saying and the point that he was coming and how he felt that he needed to lead the city forward when it came to small businesses and trying to thrive businesses here in Baltimore. So a lot of things that he said really touched home with me, and I was feeling them. Now, when I didn't vote for Sheila Dixon that time, and that was over Catherine Pugh, it's because too, not because of what she did, but I just felt like others underneath, city government and stuff like that wouldn't really give her that chance because it was still kind of like not fresh, but I was like, they still handling her for that. Like it was still a big thing. And I just felt like it was going to still be people who hated on her that blew it up about the 1,500 because that wasn't really going to try to be in a partnership with her to make sure stuff was going to get done. So I felt like if she got in there, she would have got in there. But it was going to be a lot of that. Like a lot of people still, playing against her. That's how I felt. So that's why I was like, dang, Sheila, I don't even want to set you up for that. So I did not. She had a chance. And then, I even remember being on social media, going back and forth with people and stuff like that about my choice too for Robert Wallace. And I remember saying things about my sister. I remember saying things about my sister, like, what did she do? And no, so what? She should have never did that or got caught up and all that other stuff. But Sheila, I was a little younger then. And I really wasn't looking at it for what it was. I was being, look, I just was being a person, girl.
It's just really, really funny though. But a lot of people like you just said, but they're all coming around now. They've all seen.
Yeah, I really was, and I'm being honest. Right, and it wasn't about what she did. I think that I was just disappointed that it was that. And then also, I didn't look at it at first as her resigning as being noble and being respectful. I was like, oh yeah, she running. She done did that. Like, girl, you supposed to fight. I think it was like that. Like, that's what I was thinking.
Actually, I've had a couple conversations about that. A lot of people thought she was she was running.
Yeah,
like she was running away from it. But that wasn't the case. And I saw that from the beginning that wasn't the case. She cared so much about this city that she didn't want this city to be saw in a bad light outside of the city. Outside
and that's how I came to basically understand it now. But I'm just being honest and letting you know what I was thinking about it.
She left office. Immediately after she left office, she hit the ground running, doing stuff for the communities, her community in particular, the one she lives in, doing stuff around the city, raising money for places around the city. She immediately went back into being a I can't think of the word right now, but doing stuff for the community, a community-driven person. She immediately went back to doing that, and I think her profession, she's a lawyer, so she didn't even go back to doing that. She went right back into being a community activist,
public service,
a community activist.
And I've also seen her out at a couple of community events and also personal events
all the time, every single day.
She was always pleasant. She was always pleasant, always. And that should just be her attitude. So I think that if anything, her continuing to come back, even this third time, like I say, 3 strikes out. No, I believe 3 bids and she ready to be in, because now how I look at it, I'm looking at it from that other angle. And I just feel differently about it now, but I just was letting you know how I was feeling about it back then, why I didn't vote for her, why I didn't think that she would be good in that position. But I'm totally in a different space about it now. And like I said, her running this third time definitely shows that whatever she's seeing from her experience and her wisdom, she's like, no, I can't. I can't. You know what I mean? Like that's really how she current and that's really how she talking to like, I can't let this continue to go on. I know I can do something and I'm gonna keep on going for it until they allow me to get it done. So I think that it is time to allow Sheila Dixon to get it done. And she is definitely going to get my vote. The dismay sometimes is that we, of course, so many Democrats being on this mayoral ballot. I was mentioning some who would be on there with her, of course, Brandon Scott, our current mayor, Robert Wallace, Thurl Faraja. They say he gonna go at it again. Wendy Bozell and Wendell Hill Freeman. So when I looked it up, those were the current people who had announced that they would be running for that seat. But good luck. I am definitely backing Sheila Dixon. And I said earlier that I found out some information. It's out there now, of course, public news, your news, that Brandon Scott has turned to the Baltimore Board of Ethics for guidance on how to differentiate his campaign from the city business. Now, and I made a little joke and said, yeah, he feeling a little scared after he heard Sheila was running and probably under the impression that she was going to run just like I was. He was like, oh no, I got to step this on up. I got to do something. I want to know how I can differentiate or how I can separate my campaign from running city official business. And all reality, Brandon, if you was running the city business the way it's supposed to be, that would have been your campaign. But respectfully, it's okay. You reached out to the board. You want to know how. He sent his request via a letter. He sent the letter to them on Wednesday. So it came Wednesday, the day before, which is today, that Sheila announced that she will be running. What he's asking for is written guidance. He's also asking for a meeting between the ethnic board officials and his senior staff. Okay. So yeah, he just don't want to intermingle where his duties are. You know, that's what he's saying. Even though some people had been saying that Brandon Scott has been intermingling a lot of things, like when he hired his two former campaign people, right, to top city officials here. Guys, they were talking about who was the guy, because I talked about them several times too. The chief of staff, Marvin James, and Brian Daughtry, who was his spokesman. They were involved in his campaign, and in May of this year, because they was his former campaign officials, right? He gave them top city positions. Yeah, the chief of staff and the spokesman. Okay.
What's wrong with that? But what was
Anyway,
wrong with that?
and I spoke. It's nothing wrong with that because I spoke on that before when I had spoke about people having issues with that. Remember we talked about that and was saying, well, what you supposed to do when you get in a position and you can kind of reach back out to people that have helped you get to where you're at. What's wrong with bringing people in? Because the reality is,
I don't remember talking about this, but at the same time,
we talked about that when I had did the whole breakdown.
At the same time, it's typical though. It's actually very typical. That's something that usually happens. If they work for your campaign, they typically earn positions in your cabinet.
Yeah, I mean, why not? Why wouldn't you bring people in that has supported you and helped you get where you at?
But it's not about that. It's not even about that. It's about the qualifications. They were qualified to run your campaign in those exact positions that you hired them for in your cabinet. That's what you hired them for in your campaign. It's kind of a universal process that you would take the people that you hired in your campaign that you thought was qualified in those positions that would then end up moving into your cabinet in those same positions. If he was chief of staff in your campaign, they're going to be chief of staff in your cabinet. If they was your spokesperson in your campaign, they're going to be spokesperson in your cabinet. That makes it it should be perfectly fine because their job is to sell their candidate.
Yeah.
And even in the position of chief of staff and the other position, I can't think of what it was again, but their job is to sell the mayor.
I don't think that's the exact title of it, but he's like the
spokesperson. Their job is
spokesperson.
to sell the mayor.
Yeah.
To make him look good. Why would that's there? I don't see the issue with that. Why would you? That wouldn't be the issue. They were paid positions in the campaign. They're going to be paid positions in your cabinet.
Right.
It wouldn't be a conflict of interest either. That's what they were running. They were trying to get you a job. Their job is to get you the job. So the job, there you got it. The job creator should be giving you a job because your job ended when the campaign ended.
Right.
So now you're unemployed and available. So why wouldn't you hire them?
Right. Well, guess what? He feels, I guess he know that he got to have an awesome campaign while he's also trying to run a business in the city.
But they can't do both now. They can't go back to being campaign people and being employees of the city. That's a no-no. Maybe that's why he wants to go to the ethics board. Yeah.
That's probably why he's asking. Because he probably wanted to utilize them.
As an employee of the city, they can't work on your campaign too. They can't.
Right. They can't.
No,
they can't.
They work for the city.
I've seen a lot of people. Right. Yeah, you got to kind of say.
The people work for the campaign and not the city. So they can't do both. That's double dipping.
Yep. So I'm thinking he knows that he has to have an awesome campaign because of all this stuff. Because I'm sure he knew that Sheila Dixon was going to run, and I'm sure he recognizes how close she was the last time to winning back in 2020. Now, Brandon Scott, a couple of the last things that came across as controversy that we talked about before too was his appointment of the new police commissioner, Richard Worley. And a lot of people were just saying he's not it. Now, people were saying that he was not it, I believe, because of the way that Brandon Scott kind of announced it. People were unfamiliar with that. You know, they were used to a vetting process as well as used to us going like out of state trying to find a police commissioner. But considering his history with the department, he's been here and everything else like that, I felt like it just made sense to get somebody from Baltimore who was already here, kind of knows the culture, kind of know the history, really knows what the underlying issues was. And then also, it's very good too because Richard Worley was just now under our last one. What was the guy name? He came in, he got so daggone fast. He was a little quiet too while he was here. I can't remember.
Commissioner Harrison.
Okay, yeah, Mr. Harrison. So our former commissioner Harrison, he's out of there, and Richard Worley is supposed to be getting commencement or officially this month or whatever is the ceremony that they hold to officially name him our police commissioner. And they recently had some community meetings, kind of like, like town halls to discuss what his intentions were, to see where he was for the city. Brandon finally, I think, kind of brought that to the table after he got the backlash of not doing that and kind of giving like a proper introduction into what his intention was for Richard Worley to be the police commissioner. So Brandon was like, okay, shut the people up. Let me hold some meetings and let them talk, come in here and whatever. And was the people talking? People were saying all types of stuff. The guy said, the say she's selling drugs. They was going in. But Richard Worley was there and he held his ground. He seemed real comfortable answering questions, doing things of that nature. From what I seen, because I did not attend any of the community meetings or whatever, but from what I seen. But people, unfortunately, are saying that he is not it. Sheila Dixon also spoke on that because it was questioned to her when she was on news earlier, like, would he remain the police commissioner? And she just blatantly said, well, why I don't know him is never personal on who the person is, but what they are intending to do. And, as far as the business. So from what Richard Worley was saying, he's definitely about the business. Something else I'm going to talk about where I think that he's been doing great in the leadership of that and recognizing that. And as far as the investigation and how he's pushing it was from that Brooklyn Day shooting. They have several arrests. He's been real vivid on speaking out about that and that the investigation continues. They're going to continue. He told the department to go towards every lead, question everybody, pull all of the resources, the cameras, whatever you have to do to get these arrests and to bring justice to this tragedy. Because that Brooklyn Day shooting was actually the most severe, the city's to date most severe like mass shooting. Like we ain't never had nothing like that. And during that event at Brooklyn Day shooting, 2 people were killed and 28 were injured. Yes, it was an 18-year-old. I did write that down. Yes, I did. It's somewhere. I wrote it down. Where is it? Oh, there we go. Is it right there? Is it right here? I told you I be getting lost. Yes, it was the 18-year-old beautiful young lady, Aaliyah Gonzalez, and Kylis Fagbima, who was 20 years old, along with 28 others who ranged from the age from 13 to 32, were injured out there. Yes, it was the city's largest ever mass shooting. 3 people as to date have been locked up involving this mass shooting that happened on the Brooklyn Day. 18-year-old Aaron Brown has 17 charges. A 14-year-old who is 18 and 18-year-old Tristan Jackson has also been charged. 7 counts of conspiracy to commit murder, 7 counts of attempted first-degree murder, and 41 other related charges. So those are the 3. Richard Worley had spoke out and said that they are seeking to bring into custody 6 more people. And basically, he trying to do his thing. And he told Baltimore City Police Department and everybody that's involved, the investigators, the detectives, all of that, y'all better do your thing to bring justice, because it was 173 page assessment that came out. And what was noted in it is that the police department failed to properly respond. Yes, they said it was an unpermitted event. They were too late in the warnings to respond because they had already got notification. It was already called that this event was getting out of control. The police did not respond appropriately. I've been seeing the young lady who got killed, her mother, on the news, really, really speaking out. Miss Crystal Gonzalez, prayers remain for her and her family, everyone that was affected, because even the individuals who were that were killed, the ones who were injured, that were non-fatal, and just that community as a whole, people that were there, I'm sure that in some way they were still affected. Me, I wasn't there, and to hear of stuff, and when we continue to hear of things like this and tragedies that happen in our city, it affects you. It does. Like I said, I'd be lying to say that it doesn't. How can I, it's like, at this point, it's like the inevitable, like karma, like, oh man, we know it's going to happen. Something going to happen. Of course, we don't want it to happen, but unfortunately, this is what is happening. And something is definitely got to be done. And a lot of people has been saying that, Brandon Scott is just, he worried about a campaign. A lot of people called him a campaign manager, a photo op type of, I said manager, mayor, a campaign mayor. Like, that's all he's worried about. All he's worried about is photo opportunities. But people are saying that he has really not done his work. That a lot of times when things and issues came up, of course, we talked about that too. People pointing a finger. But at the same time, for a lot of stuff that has happened, Brandon Scott has not actually accepted any responsibility for it, any accountability, even though he's in the role of mayor to kind of oversee a lot of this stuff. So when a lot of stuff has happened, the shooting up by Popeyes, if you're in Baltimore, you look and you know what I'm talking about, the shootings at the schools, all of this stuff. We just had a recent shooting at the school down at Dunbar Field. I don't think it was inside the field, but it was alongside East Madison. I believe this was on Tuesday. A 12-year-old boy was shot. He's still recovering from that. But it was just a lot of situations. And when Brandon Scott came to talk out on it, he generally would not be like, well, I need to do this or I need to do that. A lot of times, he was talking real to say, it's not me, it's other people, or it's not only me, and we know what's going on, and we know what the history is and basically the culture of, and they need to do this. And if this store don't he was giving a lot of that versus saying this at this point, this is what we had to do. I feel some type of way. He's always seemed sincere though when tragedy strikes. He does, but getting in front of it and trying to be proactive about catching a lot of this stuff, like this car theft stuff and all that stuff. I don't know what they're gonna do about that. I don't know. Because I've always spoke to, like, we can't blame everything on the mayor. But at the same time, something has to be done. And when things do happen and you are appointed to oversee this stuff and run a business of the city, and when things happen on your watch, you got to take accountability. As well as I advocated for people not to point the finger at you, my brother Brandon, you cannot continue to point the finger at everybody else because that's your job. I mean, that's what you signed up for, so you know what's coming. I just think too, Brandon is young. I didn't even know he was that young, for real. And age for real is not but a number because I felt like he had a good chance. He had a lot of backing. Come on now, he was a young black brother. He won the mayor. He got the mayor seat. So it was a lot of people behind him, and a lot of people was backing him. Being so he was from Park Heights, he was here. But Brandon lately just had been, he been wrapped up in some controversy. He got his girlfriend pregnant. They said when he was, it was stuff. It's stuff that happened or whatever else like that. But yeah, Brandon, I don't know. Do y'all think Brandon gonna be the man again? I hope not. I hope not. And that's nothing
wait.
against the brother. What?
Wait a second. Hold on. What was it about the girlfriend being pregnant? I'm sorry.
Yeah, the girl that was married. You already know.
Huh?
The girl that was married. He announced that he's gonna have a baby in late in the winter of 2024.
No,
so
I don't follow him like that. So,
oh yeah, he got a baby coming in like February.
Is she married?
She was, and then right before he announced the pregnancy, no, she still is. Right, I think right before I don't think her divorce finalized yet. Like she was separated from her husband, and he was
So what's the controversy? Was she already separated when she got pregnant?
Because they saying that's why her marriage broke up.
Oh,
I don't know. They saying she was doing something. She was messing with the man. I gotta look that stuff back up.
My only question, because you said they again, I hate that word. Did the husband say this? Because he's the only one that I would take that from.
No, it just was alleged. The husband didn't say this. It has just been alleged.
There we go.
It has just been alleged. I got little sources. It had just been alleged that he was working or they was working closely. I don't think she worked for the city or nothing like that, but she's somebody. I ain't gonna say it like that. She was doing something where she got the opportunity to have to work closely with him or, something like that. And they started having an affair. And now she's pregnant. And her husband, filed for divorce.
I say that. I'm like, Jesus, I say that.
Yeah, I'm gonna look it up. We're gonna talk about that next week, but that's what happened.
I'm like, Jesus,
that's what happened. Well, that's allegedly what happened. Let's say that.
Did you
because Brandon, I don't want you to come back and get me like Cardi B got.
Did you hear what Omarosa just said?
What'd she say?
I'm like, Jesus, I say that.
I did.
I'm like, Jesus, I say that.
I know it's something funny.
She said, like, Jesus ain't say that. That's the only person that matters, right? Jesus ain't say it. They don't matter. Jesus ain't say it.
But I don't know. But Jesus knows.
That's the only one. That's the only one that knows.
He know what happened. He know what happened.
And they don't. Jesus knows, and they don't.
And Brandon Scott do too. And he got a baby coming January or February. He announced that on his page, by the way, on his social media page.
I'm not that he might have a baby coming, but I think that's the thing that's because
he gave baby charm. he gave baby charm is on the way.
I'm starting to feel that it's because that he's unmarried that they're trying to say this about the baby. You know, it's not even having anything to do with the relationship. It's about the baby and he's unmarried. So now we're going to have a mayor that's having an unwed baby, out of wedlock baby.
I know they can't, well, baby, I know they can't be giving that because that's a lot of people here in Baltimore City. So he just
right, but it's not a mayor. That's the thing is that it's not a mayor. They're not mayor. They're not
right,
mayor,
and I get that.
Governor,
and I really don't even believe that it's that. I really believe that how the relationship or whatever, how it got started and how it came about.
That's what I'm holding contention
and
over.
This lady
we don't know, and that word "they" gets a lot of people in trouble because they don't know nothing.
They don't. That's why I'm gonna say it's alleged because Brandon Scott, when you come out from being a mayor, it's allegedly that's what happened, sir. I'm just saying that's what allegedly what happened.
And I hate to take it back to the gift card thing because that was the problem with the gift card thing. They kept saying this. They kept saying that. They kept saying this. And that was all against Sheila saying that did not happen. And it wasn't, nobody was taking her word for what she was saying. You see what I'm saying? They were saying this, but no one said they had proof. But then Sheila said, I did not do that, but that wasn't good enough for nobody. They took their opinion as if it was fact. But Sheila saying that did not happen was not factual. That's the problem that I was having with that whole entire situation. Is that they can't be part of it if you can't name that. If you can't name who
it's cute. I'm gonna do some. It's cute. I'm gonna do some further investigation, and if I can't do it, I'm definitely gonna reach out to my boy Chris Patz, Mackenzie Ross, baby. Because if can't nobody get to the bottom of it, they will. So yes, it is all alleged.
That day again, they will. Oh God.
Brandon Scott. They is Chris Patz and all of them. I might gotta reach out to them so they can really help with the investigation and get to the bottom of it. But yes, respectfully, it is all alleged. I don't know that man's business. I just know that he put out an announcement that baby charm is coming in the winter of 2024. So people were putting it together, the timelines and the relationships, and they had went back into this lady history and see when she had separated with her husband and all that. I'm gonna bring y'all the information and was like, So it was a lot of stuff that people were alleging or people were beginning to assume because that's what it looked like. But I'm gonna make it clear, I don't know. Congratulations. Mayor Brandon Scott say baby charm is coming in the winter of 24. I can't wait to see him. I'm thinking he gonna even come out with a little bush. This bush then been right here, little shape up, little straight Steve Harvey type of shape up bush. I'm sure he's gonna be a darling. He announced that he said baby charm. But yeah, that's what was going on with Brandon Scott and that controversy with that. But I don't know. But Brandon Scott did reach out to that board of ethnics to ask them how can he run a successful campaign as well as running the city of Baltimore. I think it was a good thing. I know I seen the board representatives speaking out was saying that they asked for those type of requests to be in a timely manner. So I'm thinking that his request was in a timely manner, but they haven't responded on exactly how they intend to provide this information for him. He's asking for a written and he's also asking for a meeting because he said it's very important that he understands where he stands ethnically and what he can do. And that might be part of it. That might be part of it that he had intentions for people that are now on his staff to help him for the campaign, but he knows that is definitely not allowed. So
I definitely have to interject. But we're going to say this word together. Come on.
Go ahead, say it.
Ethically.
Ethnically.
No, not the end.
We're not going
to go with ethnic. We're going to go with ethnic.
Ethnic. Oh, I'm giving ethnic like ethnic background, right?
We're not going to go with ethnic. We're going to go with ethnic.
Ethnically speaking. Oh, go ahead, Mommy. You know what I mean. But you know what I mean. But ethically, money is correct. Ethically, okay, and it was that was good
Ethically,
ethic.
ethically,
That was good ethic for you to correct me. I really appreciate that. I really
ethics.
appreciate
That
that.
was good
I always do.
ethics.
Ethic. Ethics. Come on, you know what I was saying, and the audience did too. But
They
it's
did,
ethics.
they
But
did,
I
they
did
get
tell
it, they
y'all,
get you. They know your tongue don't work.
I did. Oh, it worked. It worked. It worked. It worked. It just got that Indian blood. They got that Geechee Lord tongue, baby. I got that Baltimore accent and all that other stuff going on. A little bit of splash of my Bonix and all that good stuff. The other day, somebody told me, you like a cross between Baltimore, DC, Atlanta, down there. I said, you know what? Stop playing with me. But I know what's that. But hey, this how it is. I said it and I meant it. And I meant it. However you pronounce overall, but yes, it is ethic, not ethnic. So ethically thick. Okay. And my tongue be feeling a little bit thick too. Yes, I think he did the right thing by going about it that way. I mean, considering they didn't got Sheila for these gift cards, they didn't got Pooh for these self-published books. They didn't got what was the controversy with what you call her? SRB. What did
Oh,
she do?
SRB. SRB was the Baltimore riots.
Right, was the Baltimore
Right,
riots
right.
or whatever. So yes, I mean, handle that. Even though they still talking about you, that you ain't handled about bringing Richard Worley on, and that's what I say too. I think that's why a lot of people were against that too, because it just was the way he did it. Ain't what you do, it's how you do it as the mayor. And they just said Brandon ain't did stuff right. I'm sorry. Like I said, I don't blame him for a lot of the stuff that's going on, but you cannot continue to say, oh, that's just how it is, this Baltimore culture, whatever, because that's what your campaign was ran on the last time when you won the seat. And those were things that you were supposed to address. So every time those issues come up about crime that you said that you were going to work on, about all this stuff, when those issues come up, that's where you're supposed to speak on it and your progress and kind of be like, okay, we're here, or this is the issue, or whatever. I'll say that. Don't be saying what everybody else supposed to do. I mean, people will be more receptive of that if you be more open to tell us what you're doing.
But you know what
That's just my question.
how I feel about this race? I hope what they're not going to
Oh, yeah.
do is try to run this race on crime again. Because
Damn.
again, crime is not something that can be solved by a mayor.
It's not.
That's a law enforcement thing. He's not a law. The mayor is in charge of law enforcement, but he is not law enforcement. That is not their
Right.
training. That's not their training. So if you're looking for a mayor to fix your crime problem, you're looking in the wrong direction. That's law enforcement. That's people that are educated in investigations. That's not
Right.
a mayor's job.
And I think so more so, yes, it's not the more job, but I think I think people were just a little bit against like his
My point is
response
that
to
the
it.
crime is no different or worse or better or anything than it's always been. We keep looking at these numbers and saying like 343. Oh my gosh, we had 343 murders. That was 343 last year. It's no
Well, when
different
Shayla was here,
each
when Shayla
year.
was here, when Shayla
No,
was here,
when
we
Sheila
had
was in
300.
office too, it was the same. It's like it only plateaus right
It
there.
was a
You're
whole bunch.
always going to have it. It's not like you're going to stop people from killing each other. If they're going to kill each other, they're going to do it one way or the other, whether it's with a gun, a knife, or a scissors.
And
It's
they
not
doing
going to
it.
be stopped. If somebody is going
And
to
they
have the
doing it.
audacity to murder somebody, that's what's going to happen.
Right.
Unfortunately, it's unfortunate. But
Right.
it's
It is
the way.
unfortunate. And I get that. And why it's not the mayor's, responsibility to basically fight crime. I think it's more so had to do with their response and what they feel are the actions that need to be taken or what they
But
or
the actions, you can't even make an action on something that you don't know is about to happen unless you have the forethought
right.
to know that a
Yeah,
murder is
yeah,
getting
that
ready
is
to
true.
happen.
Yeah,
You
that
can't
is
stop it.
true. Yeah, that is true. But I think so, like I said, it was the response. I think like when things happen and different stuff like that, I think people don't approve about how Brandon Scott respond. and when he comes to address it,
But
whatever.
that's my point. His
Even though
response
he's
is that
always
of a mayor.
sincere.
His response is that of a mayor and not of a crime fighter. He is not a vigilante.
Well, guess what? But guess what though? And I get that they can't do that sitting in that position. But if you run your whole campaign and saying that that's what you want to do, then
But
you
that's
can't
my
be
point.
mad.
That's why I said that. That's why I said I hope that's not the position they're going to take
Right.
in this race, is that they're going to run on crime, because there's
Right.
nothing going to. Then you're running into the same problem, that's not his job.
Right.
All he can do is appoint the commissioner. That's it.
Right. And
That's it.
Shirley Dixon, she spoke on the crime part, but she definitely spoke about like different issues or whatever that definitely need to be.
And that's
revisited.
the funny part about it. In her first campaign, when she was running back then to become mayor, when she was talking about crime, she was talking about creating initiatives to prevent crime from starting, not to fight crime. Which was her community centers, which was all of the things that she was doing grassroots level, like the cleaning of the neighborhood, that cleanup day every Saturday, where the song came from, clean up, everybody, everywhere. That thing, that was the initiative that she was doing to prevent crime from starting, not from fighting it. Because you can't fight crime when you don't know the crime is getting ready to happen.
Right.
That's just the impossibility of it all.
And currently, something that she was really big on, and I heard of it talking about, was currently, like, where a lot of the crime is coming from our youth. So that's why she said there has to be more attention, like in the school system, need to be, more programs there. She was basically saying that she feels that the mayor and city hall.
I don't even know if that can help, because that's not where they're learning the crime from. It's not like they're learning the crime.
No, that's not where they're learning the crime from. But she just was
They're learning the crime from their environment, from what they're seeing, from what they're listening to, from what they're watching. That crime is not coming from their parents.
Definitely. But I think she was saying school, like she was saying that, the city hall gives so much funding to the Baltimore school system, and they kind of
I'm not talking about her. I'm talking about her against her, because I think she has the right plan to make the community initiatives and give these kids something to do other than listening to the music that they listen to, other than watching the crime that they see on TV and taking that influence and thinking that that's cool to do. If you have something else to do to occupy your mind, then there's something else for you out there.
Everything wrong, they think cool.
Exactly. And that's influential in why we have such a bad crime rate. That is so influential.
You know what? I feel like the old head. Remember when I remember me being younger, my grandmother, rest her soul, just even different elders and stuff, or people that were mentors to me and different things when I used to get involved with stuff. My third grade teacher, Mr. Bowley, yes, rest his soul. Thank you.
But that's my whole thing about fighting crime, though. You have to let people commit, not the most heinous crimes, but they have to learn from their mistakes.
I was ready to say now, this time. I was ready to say, hold on now. What you say?
I'm not promoting heinous crime committing, but you have to learn from your mistakes to do better. You have to. That's what we did. We did the crimes when we were in our youth, and then we learned that we won't be what we want to be if we continue to go down this path, and we righted course. And a lot of people do that. They do commit heinous crimes when they're younger, but then they learn from their mistakes and then right the path and then become something better.
Right. But if you have somebody, because I was vivid, I was really vivid in my role as a youth advocate, definitely against mass incarceration of not just youth, but adults, period, against African Americans. So, I served in that capacity for a very long time. And see, when I used to advocate against it and like youth with crime and not being in jail rather than be connected to community services, I'm talking about these were youth who were doing, or, young Black youth who were doing child stuff, stealing a soda from the store or stealing a shirt. And they were really being smashed or really, receiving harsh consequences. But this day and age, when we have youth who are stealing cars, several cars. There was a lady on the news, her 14-year-old daughter. One of these individuals involved in the Brooklyn Day shooting was on the monitor. He was a youth, but he was still out there. So,
yeah, I seen that the one with the 14-year-old when they're stealing the car thing, and he got released to his parents, and they was talking about, well, how can we make the parent the example of this and lock the parent up? I said, well, what that would do? The parent didn't show him how to steal the car.
And that was
wasn't the
one thing
parent's
that I
fault.
didn't like. That was one thing that I didn't like that Richard Worley had said in one of those discussions that was aired. And again, you know, those things are edited. But a man was basically saying that, like a community member. It was like, you know, parents need to get their kids and need to get their kids. And like I said, I know and I recognize when working in that capacity, a lot of these children have good parents. So I mean, sometimes it's assumed that everybody that does bad come from bad households, one parent households, or whatever things like that they consider that do not help a child flourish. But that's not always the case. I mean, some youth that I work with, I'm telling you, you go to their house. When I used to be talking to them, like, why is you doing all this stuff? Like, you don't even have to do all this stuff. But again, the pressures that they have, the peer pressures and all this and everything else like that, they would just be involved in it. And what my point was is that when I was advocating against it, like I said, it was children doing child stuff, but not a lot of the stuff that we are seeing today. If you have a child that is constantly stealing cars, like how they said, you know, that rule here, they're under 13, they can't be charged. A lot of people were saying when things were happening, when young people were committing crimes and they weren't being charged, of course, they were saying that older people would use them as the scapegoats. That's been happening like forever. Knowing that they couldn't get time and everything else like that. Remember, it used to be the girlfriend boyfriend thing with a wife, and you couldn't testimony, but they don't play that no more legally. But right now, you know, we see a lot of these youth constantly committing the same crime, and it's sad because it's not being addressed within these systems that are supposed to be there to service them. And unfortunately, I seen it too. Like I said, in my capacity working as a youth advocate, I used to work with young people that will be involved with the juvenile justice system. When they would get of age, you know, of course, not being arrested, but it would be some type of intervention put into place, like the services I provided, the advocacy, to try to help them along and help them become productive. And I'm telling you, they just
those are the things that need to be reinstituted. And I think that's something that Sheila will probably do. It's reinstitute those kind of programs that are geared at more so stopping the crime before it happens.
Right, you know, and I think it definitely would be a plus. Right, it definitely would be a plus. But like I said, I seen a lot of youth that were coming through and will receive the services, and some of them would kind of be, I guess what, rehab or whatever you say, and get it together.
The direction of their course.
But a lot of them would not, despite whatever we tell them, because they were not simply getting any consequences. I'm telling you, they were simply not getting any consequences. It was slaps on the wrist, so they took it as a joke, and it was so sad when I would work with those individuals. I'm telling you, there's so many kids I work with that lost their lives. My very first child I got the pleasure to advocate for, Tarika Martin, who birthday just passed, man. Her Leo, yes, that was my girl, right? She was killed. Someone tried to rob her in the front and killed her. So it's like a lot of them.
That wasn't because she was committing a crime, though. So that wasn't.
No, she wasn't committing a crime. I just was going into that. You know, I be going on over there. She wasn't committing a crime, but someone killed her.
You actually were the help in that situation. It's just that somebody else took her life.
Right, I actually was the help. And what I'm saying is that a lot of those kids, though, what I'm saying is the sad part is a lot of these kids that be in the system or be in this stuff, they wind up being killed. And then when they don't sometimes receive the proper consequences, they are still in situations. And then, oh my goodness, how many phone calls I used to get from young men and young women that I got to work with when they get 18 and 19 and they get locked up for something. They be like, Miss Chastity, oh, can you help me? Ain't nothing I can do. I mean, the most I used to could do on their behalf was to advocate for their charges to be sent back to the juvenile justice system. And a lot of times, by the time it got to that point where they were an adult, you know, it wasn't really anything
You can do.
that you could say. Sometimes they would send it back to the youth system, but then again, you know, they were under the assumption that once you become an adult, they don't look at your youth history. Yes, they do. If you are still being supervised and you're underneath the probationary supervision of juvenile services, a lot of them were committed to the Department of Juvenile Services, a lot of them. And yeah, they look at your history. And that's what the department began to argue that, yeah, they try to do what they could do for you while you are juvenile and you just did not get it. And so many young women, so many young men were getting smashed. 18 years old were getting smashed for doing nothing because they thought that they were going to get out or they whatever else like that. And I used to be having to say, sorry to say, but damn, I told you. You know, damn, I told you. And just like I said, it was a lot of children too that know they were not committing a crime that got killed that I was able to work for. Young kids. I'm talking about 14, 15. The youngest one that I had the pleasure of working with, 13, Saeed Brinkley. Who else? Cameron. It's so many people. My boy, my last boy, Dad, I'm mad that I cannot think of his name. He was 13. You know, I remember working with that boy, dropping him off at school, going to his school, checking with him and everything. So I have a lot of trauma from that for real. I do. And sometimes I sit and I look, I'm ready to cry. Y'all know I'm emotional, right? But I'll be sitting and I'll be like, dang. So whatever if Sheila get in can help the children, it definitely will. It's definitely needed and it surely will be appreciated. It surely will. So Sheila Dixon got my vote. And Brandon, I don't know, you ready to be out. But some more breaking news. Yeah, we're going to get into what, because I got to bring this up because everybody is talking about it. Yes, 23-year-old Chrisean Rock, who made it to, I guess, the famous status back in 2020 when she was featured on the OnlyFans type of reality show that Blueface launched to have people come on, invited them all to his mansion, a group of women to compete for his love. But 23-year-old Chrisean Rock has had her son, who is with the 26-year-old rapper Blueface, whose legal name is Jonathan Jamal Porter Jr., okay? So she had her baby the other day on September the 3rd, bringing him into the powerful zodiac of Virgo, okay? And this is something that I realized too about the zodiac, right? Them O's behind it, them Leos, them Virgos, them Scorpios, I be loving. But we is something else because they be giving, I'm trying to tell you. But she had a baby on September the 3rd. Congratulations to her. She streamed live through Instagram Live the delivery of her baby. And she also came on later to announce that she has named her precious baby boy after herself, Chrisean Malone. Yes, Chrisean Rock's real name is Chrisean Malone. And her family has that Dorsey name. So I don't know, this might be my little cousin or something like that. So get up off of her. And what I mean by get up off of her is Blue. Leave this girl alone. And not only Blue, but also his mother. What's her name? Because I wrote her name down too. Carlisa. Carlisa said for however you say it, but I'm going to say Carlisha. Carlisha, because Miss Stanford, I'm telling you, it's too old for that. You is 51 years old. I was definitely not pleased when I looked on there and say, oh my goodness, her birthday August 27th. That's like the last date of the Leo, but she's on that Leo Virgo cuff. But she definitely had some weird behavior, and that is something where Blueface has announced previously that he kind of has disowned her. Now they've had their own controversy, yes, and it continues to be controversy in a whole bunch of mess as the mother goes online to publicly spew her views about her son, or her opinion about her son, and about Chrisean and her baby. So Chrisean returned to Baltimore City, her hometown, to have her baby boy. Immediately she had it, named her son. It was a video came out where she was like in the gym. Blue is already on there talking about if she ain't doing the right thing, he gonna get custody and all this other foolishness. But what I really want to talk about the mother too, she had came on it, blasting her like, yeah, he wasn't going to come down there because he's with Jaden, and that's out of respect for her mother. And she's going, I mean, out of respect for Jaden, his baby mother, and Krishan put herself in a situation. And I'm looking like, what situation she put herself in when your son probably had a show and invited all these women to compete for his love. And when they came to compete for their love, Krishan won, and he was loving Krishan for whatever reason. Whether it was to get him more notoriety, she definitely got it. And then also they had the other show, Crazy in Love. So I was like, look, this lady is talking real crazy. Yes, I agree with Blue. It definitely was weird behavior. And I'm just saying right now, this is Krishan's situation. It's them, but it could be you. So don't judge the young lady. Don't judge her. I empathize for real. Everybody's saying she's stupid. She's not going to be able to leave Blueface alone, despite that very toxic, tumultuous, whatever you want to say, but a type of relationship, because it has been a mess. But don't act like a lot of y'all have not been there. Me, myself, baby, I got 3, but I did be 3. Not 1, not 2, but 3. I kept on going back. So I definitely understand how you can be manipulated when a narcissist is trying to love you, or a toxic person is trying to love you. And she had some traumas. So she was able to look past stuff. She was able to bond with him through a trauma bond, for real. Things they were going through. You know, I think she was at a little bit a push or not really in good relationships with her mother. He wasn't in good relationship with her mother. But guess what? They didn't came around. Krishan was supported as she was having her baby here in Baltimore. Her family was around while they streamed it live. Her family was there and they were supporting her. And it was nice and it was beautiful. And I just was like, oh, I remember young having my first baby, my first son. And I know what that gives. I know what she was feeling and she was so happy. But I really was disappointed at the mother just coming out already. She talked all of this stuff and then said she coming down to Baltimore because she want to see the baby through the glass. And I was like, miss, do you not know that grandparents don't have no rights? And then you talking all this stuff, and why would she want you around her and her baby? You talking all of this stuff, saying that he did it out of respect. That's why he wasn't here. And the lady came out that Krishan didn't even want him here. She didn't even invite him. She said she was not being open to that energy. She even had to come back and comment. And that's why I'm just going to give advice to the sister, baby. I'm telling you, because I've been through it. If you ever see Krishan, you're going to have to start ignoring Blue. You're going to have to start ignoring Blue. That's how narcissists do. Any attention that they can get from you is their shit. Do you hear me? It makes them feel good. He's going to still want to manipulate and everything else like that. And I'm not going to feel no type of way if you go back to messing with him and stuff like that, because I'm telling you, he put something else out here to the public where he not giving that girl a person. You get what I'm saying? So while we looking at her and saying that she dumb, and I'm speaking where I come from, you know, because he might going out telling everybody he hate her, he don't with her and all this and all that. But when he got to whisper in her ear by himself or he was with her, oh no, he definitely was. Yeah, it's manipulation, it's gaslighting, it's all of that. And baby is young and she's gonna learn. She has her baby now, but Krishan, you gotta start ignoring him. Because he wants your attention so bad. That's why he keep on saying stuff. She ain't even worrying about him at this point. That's why he keep on saying stuff. That's why everything that happened, he think that it's cute that him and the other baby mother is fussing. The mother made the comment to say, oh, Krishan got herself in this situation. She knew that that's what it was given because he was with her and all this other stuff. I know y'all done seen it. But the fact of the matter is, your son, who you don't have a relationship with, or the most productive relationship, should I say, put himself in a situation too. She's a young lady, and if you've been here before and had to be a single mother and raise your kids, watch your mouth, because she is married now, and it appears to be, you know, a good marriage. I think she just now her 5th or 6th anniversary, or whatever else is the case. But she definitely need to watch her mouth. And then Blueface talking about Krishan ain't doing what's right because she was working out the next day or whatever else like that. Oh, then she respond and walk through her house, and next to her bedroom was a gym. inside her house. She said, I ain't outside at no gym. I'm taking care of my baby. And the housekeeper that come every other day is making sure everything is clean and sanitized. Girl, ignore him. Ignore him. He is trying to get under your skin. He is saying that she planned to come to Baltimore, that she just was saying all this stuff like it was something out of the norm. Like, even if she planned to come to Baltimore and have her baby that day, it happens all the time, Blue. People were scheduled for to be induced. Same way people were scheduled for C-sections, even though she had it vaginally and she had it, that natural way through the vagina. But not saying cesareans are not natural, because I had one too, emergency C-section the first time. But because it was emergency and the way they cut me, I was able to have what they call it, a C-back or V-back or whatever they call it after you have a cesarean, because a lot of people that have one can't have them vaginally afterwards. But I was blessed. And I was able to have my other two children vaginally, because that daggone C-section pain is another type of pain. I'm telling you. But yeah, Krishan had her beautiful baby boy. He's so cute too. She just now put out the first picture of him, and he looks like her. But you can kind of see Blueface, Mr. Porter, up in him too. And I think he was mad too that Krishan named the baby after herself. But like she said, she brought him into her legacy, and his name is Krishan, and he will be respected. Okay? It was her right. A lot of people were saying, baby's supposed to have the father's last name, but I don't always agree with that. I know society says that, and I do believe so if you are married and, if that's what your mother wants to do and everything else like that. But all of mine got my last name, and I got my mother's last name or whatever, because that's what my grandma used to say, you ain't married, them children yours, okay? And two, yeah, that's another thing too, because I ain't going back and forth with y'all about that. But Krishan and her baby, and Blue, and that daggone mother is his, is all ready. Just attacking this lady. Stop. If y'all ever wish to have any type of relationship with your grandson or even Blueface with your son, I mean, what's going to happen is that it's definitely going to have to probably come to court situations, because the way that y'all carrying it, I would not trust my baby being around you or your baby mother Jaden. That's how Krishan lost her tooth, because they got to fighting. Jaden, another ex of his, and Krishan. No, she ain't knocked her tooth out. They got the scuffling. Krishan fell, hit her mouth on the hard surface, and her tooth was knocked out. Yeah, all of that. She got 7 tattoos of the boy, Krishan, picture him on his neck, some other 7 that's supposed to be, in dedication to him. So people are like, she's never going to leave him alone. But I'm telling you, it took me 20 years back and forth, and it just might take us some time. But I have faith that she will begin to recognize. But come on, y'all, understand that this is her baby father, and even though the toxicity that we see, y'all already know it's everybody's dream to be with their children's father. It is. But I hope that she does get a clue, because, baby, I've been through it, and I don't want to see you go through it no more. Krishan, he ain't for you. He not for you. And while Jay and Alexis, I feel bad for her too, because a lot of people are against her, and then she falls right into his rhetoric. She does. Like you was the first choice because you already had 2 kids with him. No, you was not. He did a whole show looking for some love. And that's why then when Krishan ain't feel like dealing with him no more and started waking up a little bit and started getting out of the clouds of that manipulation and stuff like that, and start saying no, and then wasn't a yes man, and start saying oh no, or and stuff like that, then he ran back to you. Who was the yes man? Who thought it was cute? That's what it is. And a lot of people also be saying the girl ugly. She look like Stewie. But in my opinion, her and Krishan look alike. They do. They kind of got the cheekbones. They look alike. Put their pictures face to face, side by side. They look alike. So he definitely is into the same type of look, or the same girl, but they look alike. They look alike. Even though he done went in the hands, Miss Jaden, and got her a BBL, got her a butt, and everything else like that, but they look alike. I mean, I think that was his high school sweetheart or whatever, but yeah, come on. Jaden, you're not in the best position. Don't keep talking about this girl, because right now it's her. And it can be you again. Because as much as people are saying Krishan is stupid about Blue, Blue is stupid about her too. He can lie all he want. He loved that girl. He loved that girl. He loved that girl. He loved Krishan, and Jaden sitting around and thinking, and what he doing now with you, Jaden, is trying to make you look better. He trying to make you look better to coerce himself into why it's better for him to be with you. I'm trying to tell you. I'm trying to tell you. But the minute, I'm telling you that Krishan fall for it again and say, come on, yeah, or whatever, that's where he gonna be. And that's my opinion. That's where he gonna be. Because he gotta get back over there and really get into her head so he can manipulate her and stuff like that some more. Not saying that he really want to be with her, but that's just how that's how a narcissist works. That's how they function. And I just was really, really disappointed in the mother coming through like that. Baby even came on the other day on Twitter or made a statement because of Krishan's mother, last name being Dorsey, kind of alleging that she got cousins too on their side who last name are Dorsey. All my cousins, right? And that's what she said, that she think they cousins. Like just anything. Now you coming with that. Talking about they Blue and Krishan cousins. Are you paying for the brother? Her mother last name Dorsey, huh? And I got friends. She ain't had no proof of it, but it's just a mess. It's just a mess. Miss Carlista Stafford, you don't have any rights as a grandparent. And Blue, your behavior as to whatever you think Krishan is already doing wrong and why you're threatening that you will take it to court and file for custody of the baby. Your behavior hasn't been the best either. So I'm sure all of that is going to be considered. And I'm so happy that it looks like Krishan is in a good place with her family in a good space. And I'm glad that she's being supported. And I love to be able to see her smile and not drunk. Because I've seen a lot of baby drunk and crying. And I felt for her. So now I even feel for her too. Because it's a lot. She just having a baby. And she got your children's father and his mother bashing you publicly and doing all this for what? So I know it's in your blood. She from Baltimore to want to respond. But you gonna have to start ignoring him. Because that's what he wants. I mean, he's speaking on everything. And if you really ain't care, why even speak on it? Like you got your son. The mother was trying to say at first that he didn't go out of respect for Jaden and Krishan brung this on herself and everything. But no, Krishan ain't want him there. She set it up like that. She ain't want him there. And if that was the case and the mother thought that was okay for him to be saying that he wasn't going to go see the birth of his own child out of respect for another baby mother because it's what Krishan put herself into, that's wrong. How? The baby ain't got nothing to do with it. Whatever Krishan put himself into, he was in her and made a baby. So if he was invited, he should have been there, but he wasn't. So let's tell the truth about that. He wasn't invited. Krishan said she ain't had time for that energy and everything else like that to be around her. She said she ain't had time for it. She ain't had time for it. Yes. That girl, ain't nobody gonna tell me that girl do not look like Jaden and Alexis. They do. She looks happy there. That was one of their happier times on that picture or whatever else like that. But I think I like it. I like that she named a baby after her, Krishan Malone. That's so cute. Krishan Malone, her baby boy. I did see something say Krishan Malone Jr., and I don't know if it has to be Junior, if it's after the mother name. But again, you can name your child what you want to name, or put the Junior or the whatever you want to put on there. But yeah, Krishan Malone has entered the world. Krishan Malone, little Krishan, has entered the world September the 3rd. And I pray that Blue does better. But yeah, it's going to be some more that's going to come out about this, guys. I'm sure it's going to be some court stuff. And it's sad. Because the way things going, they ain't going to be able to do it like on their own, where they should. The court shouldn't have to be involved. But Krishan, at the same time, that's your best bet. Take it through the courts, because I wouldn't trust him. I wouldn't trust him. I know he probably want to see the baby, and everything else like that for the meantime, because I think he'll play a lot of games about that too. He know how to get to you, girl, and get you to zap out. So he call you trying to get you to come see the baby. He gonna do something, girl, make you kirk out, try to call the police on you, get you arrested. Don't even do it. FaceTime. Call him on Instagram Messenger and show him his son. But the little baby is cute. So I just wanted to bring that up and tell her mother, stop it. Stop it, girl. You was born in 1972. You 51 years old. Leave this baby alone. Leave this baby alone, because you was there. And just like you said, you had to raise 3 children of your own, but you was married to Blueface's father and everything else like that. Didn't work out. You got a divorce. You remarried. Worry about your life and empathize with this young lady, at least for that. And show some respect, because the stuff that you putting out there and then coming and hiding your hands saying how you want to be involved and you want to see your grandbaby and it's your DNA. It's you. The baby is going to look just like you because of you, the baby here. Girl, lay down somewhere. We know you Blueface mother, but you wasn't included in making this baby and bringing this baby here. I'm sorry. We know that's your son. And your son had sex with this lady and brung the babies about. You just too involved. You doing too much. You want to be seen so bad. And I cannot believe that she is a Leo. Oh. All right, y'all. That's enough of that. Let me get this out real quick, because guess what? My time is almost up and I'm almost out of here. But gotta bring up, we were talking about the shooting. It was a shooting at Dunbar Field. I did bring that up. But the last things and everything I talked about, Krishan Rock. I'm sorry. We talked about that. Was this argument, and we might have to talk about this more next week. I kept it for the last because I thought that I would talk about that the longest, but time got away from me. Y'all know time do fly. We gotta talk about this Erica Mena and this Spice argument. Yes, the Spice argument that she had with Miss Grace Latoya Hamilton. That's Spice's real name. Oh no, Miss Mena, Miss Erica did not give Spice any daggone grace, as she called her a blue monkey right to her face. Yeah, it's called her blue monkey. Now, what's going on about this? They were having a discussion, like Spice put out there before they come. They already kind of know from production what they're going to start. So allegedly, Mena wanted to have a discussion with Spice because she was a little bit upset about a picture she seen with Spice, Safari, and Safari New Love, or who he on right now, Amada, right? So they come to the table. Of course, that was added. You didn't see everything. And Spice made a comment after they were talking about something. Was like, you act like you're the only one. And everything else like that. And Spice, a lot of times, ain't what you say, it's how you say it. I contributed that to her accent and just her energy, period, as being, a Jamaican. Okay? So I know sometimes things can come off, and they come off in a way that they mean she mean harm, but she doesn't. But I can say when I viewed it, it did look like Spice already had an attitude. Like, yeah, she was ready to get into it. Because just like Erica knew, she knew what they were going to talk about. So Spice was ready, okay? So Spice basically was given that. Not the only one. Excuse me, y'all. I was coughing a little bit. That you're not the only one who has a divorce. I done had to go through it. They were going back and forth. Erica was upset that her comments about Safari being so worried and so scared and basically crying over Spice almost dying back in October of 2022 after getting a cosmetic surgery after having a septic infection. She and Erica was like, wait a minute, I'm going through stuff, postpartum and all that. You crying for this big. You ain't even crying for me. So I don't know. Safari recorded it. I guess he talked to, it was all of that stuff, right? So while they down at the table and Spice says this, Spice comes out and say, that's why your son don't love you. I don't know if she said love or like, but I'm telling you, it was like a lightning bolt went up into Erica Mena. She got up, she threw that table. Don't you ever bring up my son and da. So you know the truth hurts. So it must be some truth to it or whatever. Or she feels it's some truth. I know she has been through some troubles with her and her son, one of her older sons' relationship. But what gets me is the rebuttal, basically, that Erica Mena gave. She began calling her blue monkey. She said you should have died and all that other stuff. Now, while a lot of people, as I'm saying, the social media was saying, you know, Spice came on there with an attitude and she started it. They calling Spice a bully, saying that, you know, she came in there with an attitude and she wanted that and she shouldn't have never said anything about her son that hit low below the belt. And Erica, when she said that about her son, she just sat down and said whatever. But if you one of them people and you feel like that, then realistically, Erica was gonna said anything. I was looking at my boy, Kendall, like how he said, I would have been laughing like, girl, you ain't even got your kids, girl, bye. I'm out of here. You worrying about me and my relationship, girl. You ain't got your kids, girl. But to be like Blue Monkey and to wish death on somebody and basically call a black woman a monkey, a black person anyway, knowing the racial tone that they put, the racism tone, the word monkey does on black people. Yeah, that wasn't right, Erica Mena. And this was not her first time calling people a monkey. She called Johnny Blaze a monkey back on Love and Hip Hop in New York. She called her a monkey and some promoters back in 2015. I mean, where this stuff is documented that this is what she has done before. So nobody is going to tell me that Erica Mena in no way was trying to do a racial slur aside from everybody just saying, oh, she said what she said, so then she said what she said. Nah, I don't think that was the case. I don't think that was the case. And I don't care what nobody say. She was wrong. You got black kids, you want to show black people, you trying to be in tune on other people, and then all of a sudden you call them monkeys, baby. So that's how you feel? Yeah, it made me feel some type of way. And I used to live for Erica. I mean, not live for her, but you know what I'm saying. I didn't, because I used to always think she was silly and she just, whatever. But you know, look, it's them, but it could be me. So I'm gonna be nice. But at the same time, y'all need to go ahead. Don't be acting like Spice deserved that, to be called the blue monkey and to be called, been told that she should have died because she said to this girl, your son don't like you or your son don't love you. I don't care what attitude or whatever she had. And yes, we do get nasty, but she could have said anything. She could have called her a big blue bitch or anything. You know what I'm saying? She could have said anything but that.
All right, I'm back.
Go ahead.
In an argument, you can't tell people what to say in an argument. We're going
No,
for
you can't. You can't tell
and
people.
The fight wins by the biggest rebuttal. That's how you win.
You gotta get up and get a charge. You can't tell people what you can say in an argument, but at the same time, right? If you know the racial undertone that it has or whatever, so that's what I'm saying. What's the name of monkey? You can't tell people what to say, but at the same time, it was wrong. You know what I mean? And it was racial when she did call her monkey because she was black. At the end of the day, anything could have been said. That's why it rubs me the wrong way. Anything could have been said. Yes, Spice shouldn't have said what she said. It was an argument. You did what you did, just like we talked before about being in a fight. You can't smack me.
I've called people monkey before. And my monkey was not racially undertoned. It was because of what she was giving me. You was giving me gorilla. You was giving me gorilla. I was gonna call you out for it.
Well, that's what she should have called us. She should have called us gorilla then.
Maybe that's what she was entailing, but monkey was the closest thing to what she could find. You got monkey sitting on your damn table. Like
that's right. That's what I did. And look, and see no evil. Speak no evil. And it was evil alchemy because I got a monkey. But anyway,
I mean, that's to say that the blackness that runs through Erica Mena is not present. To make it racial, to try to make that a racial undertone or any fact or any case. It doesn't matter.
Right.
That's her calling her a monkey. She didn't call all black people a monkey. That's people taking their sensitivity to heart. You too damn sensitive. Stop watching Love and Hip Hop.
Yeah, and I get all of that too. I get all of that, but I
Don't
did
make
think
her racist. Stop trying to make her racist when all she do is marry black people. Don't make her racist.
Right.
That's not fair.
Right. I don't think, I mean, because she said it, I'm not going to say that I think that she was racist, but I think that she particularly said monkey to be
because
against,
that's
like,
what she
she's a
gives her.
black
She's
woman.
giving her
And
appearance as monkey. That's why she.
And I don't like that. I don't like it.
In appearance, Spice to Erica Mena is what I'm going to say. Erica Mena is saying that what Spice gives to her is monkey.
Yeah,
that does not have to mean racially. That means in appearance. In appearance, he gives me monkey, and that's my insult for you, and that's why I know it's going to hit you in your jugular, bitch. Now, monkey.
And she hit a deputy.
Exactly. And now look at the uproar. The uproar is that offense works. That offense works because everybody wants to talk about it.
I wasn't pleased with the comment that Erica Mena made, right? But I was pleased that she stood up for herself. Because they've been doing a lot of kissing Spice tail, and Spice did be like in it.
But if we step out of the feelings and the emotions of that, you have to admit that with that emotion came her win. She won by calling you a monkey because it made everybody talk.
She did,
including you.
She got fired though, and they fired her though, and they fired her.
No, they fired her from Love and Hip Hop for that, for calling her a monkey.
Yes.
Oh, girl.
Yes.
See,
that's
that calling for the Sensitivity Act thing.
Yeah, they did. They did. And you know, at the same time, Spice was like, I ain't say nothing. Like at the same time, Spice too. That's why I said trying to come up with the story. She's been on a couple of Instagram lives, kind of like, well, I ain't say nothing. And what I said, like, girl, no, you didn't say it like that. You had an attitude.
That's the thing right there. When you're in an argument, you're supposed to be held accountable for all the words you say in an argument. That's not actually how it should go, because when you're angry, anything goes. It doesn't matter what we talking about. I'm glad your mother did, or stuff like that. Anything goes. We in our fight. This is an argument. I'm in this fight to win.
I get that.
I'm not in this fight to be okay, wait a minute. Let me not say that because that might hurt your goddamn feelings. Bitch, it don't matter. We fighting. I'm here to hurt your feelings.
My thing is, I know that Spice was trying to hurt her feelings by saying what she said, and she knew that it was hurting her feelings, and she knew that it was a negative response. She just didn't expect for it to get that way or to get that response.
To get her fired.
And she also, I don't like that you said that, Erica Mena. I don't. But at the same time, she also said it knowing that it would hurt Erica. She knew that it was getting a response. And she did not expect Erica to take up for herself the way she did. Because when I tell you, baby,
but then that's her problem, because all through Love and Hip Hop New York, she definitely took up for herself through that.
Yeah, but
this ain't a new Erica Mena. This ain't a new Erica Mena.
I don't know what it is about Spice. They be acting like they is scared of Spice.
This is not a new Erica Mena. Erica Mena has been like this throughout her entire career on it. Love and Hip Hop. This ain't a new one just because she lives in Atlanta.
She act like she's worried. We gonna have to talk about this next week, because also
we out of time.
Yeah, we out of time. We gonna have to talk about it, because also what I didn't like is for Spice to be acting like she wouldn't have felt no type of way if your husband was crying over somebody and he wasn't showing you no love. I know this your Jamaican Rastafarian brother and all of that, but girl, you was wrong. You did start it, and you got called a blue monkey, and unfortunately, Erica Mena got fired. But we are out of time. We're gonna talk about that some more, because that is definitely a what in the world. And you see, when you talk about things, how fast your thoughts about it or your opinions about something can change. It ain't changing my mind, but I definitely see where everybody is coming from on both sides. So I'll be back next week, Thursday, same time, same station, Be Exposed Radio with the You Better Live at 7. God loves you. God bless you. You make sure you come through. In the meantime, keep living. Hey, you better live. You better live.